And I am.
4, that might be half the home, that might be 50.
Does everybody know Valerie?
I'm Ann.
Erica.
Hi.
Hello. Right, yep. Valerie's on the ballot. All right, so you want to start counting, or should we call the meeting to order?
Let's call the meeting and then.
All right.
Where's the agenda?
Go right in front. All right, so move to call the meeting to order.
Second.
All right. Meeting started.
Is Mike Miller coming?
I didn't hear from
Be your neighbor?
He's on.
He's on phase
Oh.
1 side.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't hear from either one of them whether they were coming today.
So first on the agenda is the call for ballots. So this is the final call for ballots. If there's any ballots out there, turn them in now.
Anyone? Bueller? For those who don't know, I'm George Hornberger. I've been on the board 6 years. This is my last year, and I was president.
Erica Rorba. I've been on 4 years, and I'm on the ballot.
I'm Ann Doubling. I was on the board 10 years ago and on the board again. This is finishing up my first year.
Michael Wright, been on the board for the last 4 years. Gonna take a break, stepping down. It's been a pleasure. Really has.
Michael Larry, finishing up my first year.
All right, let's count the ballots. How do you want to do it, George?
It's open.
You want me to read who it's from and who the vote was for?
You can just do the votes for who it's for. Yeah. Or do you want me to check off the names to make sure we got all?
Yeah, you can do that.
Well, there's definitely no doubles in here.
Okay,
Let me
great.
see. Ann is definitely not, George is not. Miller's not.
Those are the ones I received.
Right, yeah, you have 29, I only have 27, so you had 2 more than I did.
Pretty much tell you.
I don't think any's come in since I've been here.
What is that, 8891?
Yep.
No one, right?
Yep.
Okay, and no dupes.
No duplicates. Okay. You're gonna run a tally, George?
Sure.
All right, here we go. 1 for Erica.
Oh, thanks.
All right, next ballot, 1 for Valerie, Michael, and Doug. So 1 for Valerie, Michael. Next ballot, Erica, Valerie, Michael. Next ballot, Erica. Next ballot, Erica and Valerie. Next ballot, Valerie, Michael, and Doug. Next ballot, Erica, Michael, and Doug. Next ballot, Valerie, Michael, and Doug. Next ballot, Valerie, Michael, and Doug. Next ballot, Valerie, Michael, and Doug.
Mike Berry, why don't you hand off the digital prints and I'll check off that we've got them. And you can check them.
Yeah, I meant to send an email today. So I think I counted 26 or 27 in an email.
George has got 29 here, so I'll have her check off that list while you go ahead.
All right, next ballot, Valerie, Michael, and Doug. Next ballot, Valerie, Michael, and Doug. Next ballot,
So
Valerie
that must
and
have
Doug.
been one of the people that got.
Next ballot, Valerie, Michael, and Doug. Next ballot, Erica, Valerie, Michael. Next ballot, Valerie, Michael, and Doug. Next ballot,
Yeah, pause after next.
Valerie, Michael, and Doug.
Those ones are folders.
So this one is.
That one was mailed, I remember.
Something.
This one is just.
Ready to roll? Next ballot, Erica and Valerie. Next ballot, Erica, Michael, and Doug.
That one was mailed.
Next ballot, Michael and Doug. Next ballot, Erica, Valerie, and Michael. Next ballot, Erica and Doug. Next ballot, Erica, Valerie, Doug. Next ballot, Erica, Michael, Doug. Next ballot, Valerie, Michael,
Oh, yours are
Doug.
one.
Next ballot, Erica, Valerie. Next ballot, Erica. Next ballot, Erica and Doug. Next ballot, Erica and Valerie. Next ballot, Valerie and Michael. Next ballot is Erica, Valerie, and Michael. Next ballot is Erica. The next ballot is Valerie, Michael, and Doug. This ballot is Valerie, Michael, and Doug. This ballot is Valerie, Michael, and Doug. This ballot is Erica, Valerie, and Michael.
Is there a dance class going on?
Yes.
Those are portraits.
Yeah.
Do-si-do.
Okay, yeah.
This ballot is Valerie, Michael, and Doug. This ballot is for Michael. This ballot is for Valerie, Michael, and Doug.
That's a copy, so you can tell.
This ballot is for Erica, Michael, and Doug. This ballot is for Erica, Valerie,
That's
Michael.
his.
This ballot is for Michael and Doug.
That was.
This ballot is for Erica, Valerie, and Michael. This ballot is for Erica and Doug. This ballot is for Valerie, Michael, and Doug. This ballot is for Erica, Valerie, and Doug. This ballot is for Erica and Valerie. This ballot is for Erica, Valerie, and Michael. This ballot is for Erica, Michael, and Doug.
big hall.
There's something we remember
50.
that.
I think we had 53.
Scrape by with like 30.
No, I was trying to get half. I was out there freezing my butt out there.
A few more to go. This ballot is for Valerie, Michael, and Doug.
That must have just been,
This ballot is for Erica, Valerie, and Doug.
here, I have a pile over here.
This ballot is for Erica, Michael, and Doug. Very close race. This ballot is for Valerie, Michael, and Doug. And the last ballot is for Erica.
30. 37.
Oh wait, there's two of them. They're double.
Nope.
Nope, is there two
Two
different
different,
names?
two
Oh,
different.
you're right.
For if
Oh, wait.
Spelled differently.
Yeah, address,
Different addresses.
343.
And 342? Yeah, this is right here. Yes,
Yes,
this is the right one.
agree that the vote is valid.
Well, we have a question about addresses, because we have two people with similar last names that have addresses 1 digit apart on the same
Was that
board.
the Lukacs?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's my understanding that the brother of the guy who owns the house to the right, which would be a higher number, lives with the woman who owns the house next door.
Okay.
So there's the Lukacs family, and then the woman next door has a different last name.
Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know Rachel.
but
Yeah.
someone
Okay.
named Lukacs lives with her.
All right,
Yeah, it's her husband.
yeah,
They just,
okay.
they don't have the same last name.
So,
Yeah,
but it is
the
two
neighbors
different
have the
houses.
same last name.
Okay.
Similar, they're not spelled the same.
Oh,
That's
they're
why-
not?
No, they're not spelled in the same, that's why I'm questioning it. And I just want to make sure there's a 343 Sydney and there's a 342 Sydney, because in our neighborhood, they usually don't have them 1 digit apart. I guess, you know what, wait a minute, I take that back, because
No, I think
my
there
across the street
is.
neighbor and I are 1 digit
I
apart.
think it is.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
just that the names are spelled differently,
Right.
so that's why
Yeah, we're
it's-
just, I just want to make sure it's
Okay.
the
You good?
right
Are you
thing.
good?
We have the right, we have
Hold on, I'm connecting to the internet
not
so I can get it.
quite yet.
This is a great app right here, so I can go on any account.
Yeah, I know you showed me that before, but you won't tell me
This
where to
one was-
download it.
This
Oh.
must be.
We got Lucas,
Does it have
we
the
got
names?
this one right here.
LUKAS, so this
So
one
this
must have
one's
been
good. That one was
mailed
the,
in maybe? And
I think that one was handed.
Hey, this is
That was handed in.
You want to know the name?
Right, oh, you're hunting half. I have that too.
So there's
See what
two
you guys
that
are
I
in
have
for.
not, there's two that I have not checked off here on the, scanned in. And let's just make sure we have Thompson and Backley.
Here's Schultz.
Yeah, I got Schultz already.
You guys got some more?
Thompson and Backley. We got some- okay, we got-
That one's handed in.
Okay.
Persa,
Versa is here,
I'm trying to
yeah.
figure out how Adelaide,
Perna,
that corridor is Adelaide Drive.
Oh, yeah.
and Thompson.
Not sure I did. And then.
And this is handed.
Okay,
So there
cool,
is
so
more.
we have all the ones that.
It's a cul-de-sac, but it's
Email.
That you
Adelaide Drive.
had. All right, so
I'll
then
tell you
this is
the
just
story
handed.
behind that. Adelaide Drive is called Adelaide Drive because supposedly the road commission wanted to connect our sub with Sleepy Hollow. You know, there's woods,
Oh, yeah.
wooded lot at the
Yeah.
end. The fire marshal and the road commission, after this deal was done with the builder, said there's no need because we can get fire access from Union Road. So they've never developed it.
Now, is that, I don't remember, is that the one where there's no island?
Yes,
Right,
and
yeah.
and the
cul-de-sac
reason why
that ends in the
there's,
woods?
right,
Yeah.
that's the reason. And a lot of times we would have our annual party there because it's a bigger cul-de-sac.
I made a promise to, we would clean up the end of that street.
That would be awesome, because it's a mess.
It is a mess.
Okay,
All right.
George,
So
can
yeah,
you,
there was
as
just
the
two
president,
emails.
validate the vote and announce the winners?
I'd be glad to, Mike.
All right,
Looks like we have Erica with 30 votes, Valerie with 37, Mike with 37, and Doug with 35. So it looks like we have 3 brand new board members.
All righty,
So it's Doug, Michael, and Val.
yeah.
Okay. Congratulations.
You get all the
Oh,
congratulations
exciting.
today.
What's
I said, you get all the congratulations.
Well, you have,
today.
we have Doug.
Oh,
Doug is here.
I didn't even see you sitting there.
I thought I lost by one. You sure?
He's like.
Oh, he's trying to get out of it.
Go that 35.
37, 37, 35.
You had 34.
I had 30.
Oh,
You're good,
well, I
30.
guess I'm happy.
I
That's no
didn't even see you
recount.
sitting.
There's no recount.
All right.
And we have 2 printouts for those that weren't on the list,
Just,
just so you know.
All right.
Yeah. So Westman and Wadston. They're scanned, but they were not.
So there's a couple that were texted to me that I
To your
emailed
personal
to
phone?
info@, yeah, because I wasn't gonna write info@yourplacesoap.org when I was standing there on the porch.
So those must have been texted.
They were texted to me and then I emailed them to the info@.
all right. I never saw one come through either.
So you have the list.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the list that I had.
All right.
Awesome, all right, well, how exciting.
All right, we'll move on to item number 3 in the agenda, which is 2023 in review. Just like to mention some of the highlights to the attendees of the meeting. Financial report, we had 105 of the 106 homes dues were paid in full. We are taking some action on the one homeowner who hasn't paid. It's been a recurring problem
For many years.
for many years, so we've got a lawyer that we're utilizing to
Foreclosure by advertisement.
foreclosure by advertising, and we'll see where that goes in the next couple of weeks. Number
Well,
2,
it's not a couple of weeks, a couple of months.
we did 2023 bids for mowing and weeding. That was completed way earlier in the year, got that kicked off. We did bylaw reminder letters issued to specific homeowners, so we received complaints, did a survey against the bylaws, and created a list and sent them specific letters to address violations of the bylaw. We mulched our neighborhood courts and entrances. We do this every 2 years. It's been our historical cadence.
And it will probably be added to the budget to have it spread by somebody else next time, because that was quite the muscle strain.
Yes.
Well, we're not getting the help, so we need it just installed.
I'm trouble enough doing my own house.
Yep. We had the B&K sprinkler winterization program again, which is always a nice help for the homeowners. We just had the Halloween and we did garage sale earlier in the year. And we are in the process of reviewing a property management proposal. This is in process. This board, I think, favors trialing this property management company for 2024, but we also want to get the buy-in from the new board members as well. So we can talk a little more about that in the next week or so, as they come on board as members.
What does that mean, property management?
It's basically a company that's going to kind of oversee our operations, because basically this is a small business and we all have jobs, and I run a business. So they just kind of catch things so they don't fall through the cracks as people change. Like, you guys are coming on new, you probably have information that may not get to you. Simple things like filing our tax return that was skipped out on for how many years?
Mike had to file 4 or 5 to catch up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
And then
filed.
like the subdivision is supposed to have a 10% reserve of our income from dues in reserve, and that was never done, or if it was done, it was depleted, so we built that back up. But it's little things that a management company oversees multiple subdivisions. They kind of know what needs to be done. They can just kind of guide everyone. And what else
Board
is?
still control what they do, or?
So, yes, in the long run, yes. She would be almost more of a secretary though too, so They would be one point of contact for violation notices, collecting dues, paying bills. However, the board would oversee financial statements every month. They would review all of her actions for violations and such. Like, the board is constantly in communication with the management company to anything that they do. However, they're able to follow up on things and keep it consistently and actionable, where, you know, this isn't our primary profession, you know, so things tend to fall on the wayside, and the consistency from one board to the next falls away. And there is, very much so. And we can review that when we talk about budget.
Right, I think something like our bylaws are way out of date. They were written when the sub was first built, so.
2001.
They've kind of gone through that and said this needs to be overhauled, just simple stuff, legality stuff. So most subdivisions of our size have a management company.
And we did have a management company before, when we first started out in the HOA. I think once we kind of got on our feet, because a couple board members already had property management experience and they were property managers themselves, we decided to disengage from the management company to save money. But as board members move on and you don't have that expertise and you don't have as many volunteers from the neighbors, there's a point in time when this is a volunteer job, and it can't take over your regular family life, and it can. And I think we're at the point now where we probably need some assistance, at least for a year or two, to get everything back on track and to update the bylaws, and then the board can decide, okay, we're in a good space now, and I think we can handle it, and we can always not engage again with a management company.
Plus they use vendors, like lawn
Yeah,
care,
that's
snow
another-
plowing,
that
and
was
we
the
may be
next
able to
point I was
get,
gonna-
even though we're spending money for a management company, we may be able to save money on all our vendors by
Yeah.
bulk.
They also offer discounted postage as well, which, I mean, that saves a lot for every mailing.
So we can try it for a year. If you guys decide to move forward with it, then give her a try.
If they're gonna change our bylaws, like, do the homeowners get to a say in what they change and the changes they propose?
So we would have to take anything that would impact the homeowners financially, take that to a vote of the homeowners. Anything that's basically housekeeping for items that are no longer relevant, items that don't comply with the current Michigan condo law, those types of things, those don't affect the homeowners financially, so the board can affect those changes.
I think there's references to the builder.
Yeah, we need to take some
Builder,
language
private
out.
roads, I mean,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of stuff in there that doesn't comply with restrictions, that don't comply with the current condo code, and the condo code has a lot of requirements that are required to be stated in our bylaws that just aren't in there. Because they were written, you know, when the legacy homeowners moved in 20-some years ago. So she's a fast track to help with that, and I think she's going to be very useful in terms of negotiating contracts for our services, because she's buying for 7, 8, 9, 10 different neighborhoods.
Okay. And then last on 2023 review, we're under bids are out for winter plowing. Any questions on 2023 in review? Okay, hearing none, going to item 4, our 2024 vision to be decided at future board meetings. Just some thoughts here. Entrance rehabilitation, they're getting a little long in the tooth. The landscaping is getting long out there, probably needs to be looked at in 2024. Fertilization of the common grounds. This is something we've overlooked in the past to save money with the budget. But we don't want it getting out of control, so we want to take a good hard look at it in 2024. Planting of annuals in common areas or entrances is something else we want to look at. The ponds treatments for algae and overgrowth and brush mowing around the ponds, especially at Fosdick and Willis, has been overlooked in years past to save money. So that's something we want to
We also need to do the drain maintenance that's required.
I don't know, a lot of homeowners say issues, or concerns about the drainage. We got a lot of cooling going on, and it needs to be resolved.
Yeah. And lastly, arbor maintenance in the common areas.
Trees.
You mean the big field common area or just?
No, just in
the
the cul-de-sacs and in the entrances. A lot of the, I mean, I know you trimmed after there was an ice storm. My
Yeah.
husband and I went out to the front entrance to trim some trees after the ice storms. But these trees are in need of somebody to look at. We really need to get in there and trim some dead things out and, because they're not looking so great. And they're gonna continue to not look great and die. And replacing a tree is so expensive, especially that big one.
And then like along the pines that had been planted previous years along Fosdick, their tree growth inside the pines itself to keep them, need to remove the tree that are growing inside the pines to keep the pine health.
Just some overall additional maintenance around the grove. Any questions on 2024 vision or anything that you guys would like to add to it? Thought starters?
Mike Miller was talking about, proposal he was thinking about with lighting at the entrances, solar powered.
That's a good one.
But he's not.
Yeah, but that's a good one, something to consider.
So that was, entrances, the lighting was done my first year on the board, so that was like 6 years ago, by a local electrician company. And he brought that up, and just said that it would probably be off more than they'd be on, just due to the sensors and whatnot, but I guess you could circle back maybe 6 years, the technology has gotten better.
Right.
Yeah, if you had-
We have a power source there now too, though, right?
Yep.
There's always
So
been
it
a
would
power
have to be-
source at the
We could start with LED. If you're heading towards the 23 on Willis, that last neighborhood, I think it's Saline, I don't remember what the name of it is, but they recently put one in to light their
Yeah.
entrance when you're turning in,
Mhm.
and it's much better than when you're coming dead of night to ours.
Maybe Jordan Meadows, I don't know.
It is York Meadows, is the last sub, because it was a
I think
sister sub to
theirs is
ours.
a little bit too bright,
Yeah.
but having light there when you're turning in at night, where there's the island in the middle,
Is that the one
very,
before
very
the
helpful.
red entrance?
Mhm.
It's too bright.
It's a good
Yeah.
ad.
It's, yeah.
Well, there's,
Yeah, they
there's
could've-
power
they could've
there
went with
somewhat.
one.
Yeah.
Theirs is a double, and they could have went with
Yeah.
one.
We
So
have
I can
power,
forward that
yeah.
contractor, if you guys are gonna get bids to do something in the future.
Yeah.
So you have.
Yeah, there's
someone to talk to.
there's a power source at each island, so on each side of the entrance and then the island. So there's 3 meters at each entrance. So you have power source to anywhere you would wanna do it there at the entrances.
If the power source is on one side,
No, it's
No.
on
It's
all
in-
3
there's-
places.
there's
Both
power at
sides
island,
and the island.
which is where you
okay,
put a
okay,
pole.
Yep.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing
With the holiday lights plug in there with a timer, I think you have those, right?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Okay, anything else for item 4, 2024?
Are you talking about snow plowing?
We're
So-
getting bids.
Are we paid up for the end of the year on the additional snow plowing for this year? We won't have much snow probably before the end of the year anyway, but.
So the plowing contract usually goes through like after this meeting, like so November, December through the year. So we have at least one bid right now, through CPM, who has done it previously. And he was the one who took it over from Boswell, who did our plowing, has done our plowing for years. It's the same price as it's been for years. And I think we had things we wanted to add to the bid, that previous years, it was 2 inches for them to plow before they would start. We wanted to make it 3, I believe we discussed as a board, and then also to ensure he does a clockwise rotation in the cul-de-sacs to keep the snow away from the driveway.
Is Wedgwood, is this the company you're signing up with?
So Wedgwood would be the property management company.
Right, for the management, what's their review on this?
They have not been a part of the plow bidding. She's actually not dealt with plow bidding
Why is that?
previously.
You don't use it?
So the two other Saline local management companies do not plow. They are, Pittsfield Township, and they get plowed.
We get plowed like
Immediately?
that, where we get plowed last. So
We're
we can-
very far down on the list when it comes to the county for plowing. So that's
There's
why we
other
as a
communities around us that don't get plowed either. They wait for the county.
Right,
Yeah.
York Township told us that we're dead last on their list, so
Yeah.
they'll come by in a day or two when they can get to us.
I mean, as far as the
Not
cost.
York Township, but
Sorry.
Washtenaw County Road Commission said that our subdivision is like at the bottom of their totem pole, so to
Um,
speak.
As far as the cost, from a neighborhood perspective to how much it costs us per year, so each homeowner for the year, the plowing cost is right around like $22 for the year, for us to plow the neighborhood. Usually, we only pay for plowing like maybe 4 times the past 2 years. They've only plowed, we've had to pay for plowing. And the one was that March snowstorm, he plowed twice that one night that we got all that snow. March 3rd weekend. So, I mean, it's adding the 3-inch minimum, that creates, so that we know that when we definitely need it. I know we've had some, like, doctors and nurses express that they're thankful for that service, especially when, waiting 24 hours for plowing. But again, if it's up to the neighborhood to make the final decision, if it's consensus that.
It goes
we're
per
gonna plow.
plowing.
Oh, the cost per plow?
I mean, that's what they're charging the only time that they plow, or is there a?
Yeah,
So, yes, it's
Guaranteed.
cost per plow.
Okay.
Yep, you don't pay a set fee, it's whenever they do it, yeah.
we decided to use them because of the bus stops. I mean, I'd be fine waiting 2 days. I have all-wheel drive, I'll plow through whatever, but somebody standing out there with their kids, I think they prefer to have it plowed if it's 3 inches or more, instead of waiting for the county.
I think the
Would you
previous
agree?
consensus was, no sidewalks, so, we're all out there on the roads themselves, no matter what. For bus stopping, walking our dogs, so.
Able to get to work, I
Yeah, so it was, that was always the thoughts previously. There has been numerous homeowners express, why do we plow, though, so it's definitely something that can,
Could always try a year without it and see what happens.
yeah.
I would vote no on that.
Well, that's out of my hands.
I know, but I'm just saying, I would rather
Another 10
not
minutes,
try
someone
that
else's.
Yeah.
Takes us
But
to item
Doug-
number 5. Okay.
Yeah, well, hold on, Doug, do you have any more questions about the plowing?
No.
No?
We should probably go through the budget.
Yeah,
we
that's what I was
can.
gonna do now, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Erica.
So the current budget proposal that you have in front of you, Ann and I have worked on throughout the year. You'll see some items that don't have any planned budget expenses. Those are just items that we've looked to that in the future that we need. You can see on the far, excuse me, on the far left side, you have our budget, the 2023 budget, and then where we ended up actually. That also includes projected plowing and landscaping costs that will come at the end of the year. We ended up saving some money because there was some services that we didn't do, because there was concerns we were experiencing legal costs, additional postage costs that we weren't expecting. So we didn't do a few things this past year just to ensure that we didn't go over budget. So we held off on a few things. However, back to our proposed budget, you'll see the very first items are the property management company for expenses. We have negotiated a rate of $5.50 per home per month, which lends the homeowner a $66 charge for the year for the property management company. There's also a setup fee to set up with this company, and that's a one-time charge of $400 to set up. You'll see administrative expenses. Those are pretty straightforward. Previous years, we did not have any funding towards audits, legal, supply, just secretary supplies, and then we seem to always incur some miscellaneous fees though as well, so. If you have any questions, just yell out. As far as,
We didn't do the social.
we did not
this
do
year.
the social this year, again, we had budgeted for it, although that was one of the items we held off on.
Right, just to make sure we can make our budget, and it
Right.
doesn't, we have not put that in the budget yet this year, just to see where we end up. Also, we've had 0 volunteers to help plan an event.
Yeah.
And the call went out 3 or 4 times, like, we would need lots of volunteers, and no one did, so it just, if there's no interest in that, I don't think the board, I personally don't have time to take on planning a party for 200 people.
There was a social committee, over 4 years ago that we took on the planning of the social committee, the timing of the garage sales, and sending out information about Halloween every year. However, I became board member, and then the other social committee members were unavailable anymore, so the committee kind of like fell to its wayside. But I would think though, like the board's intention though, like with the property management company, she's gonna be taking on so much more that the planning and being able to assist in getting volunteers for something such as the social
Mhm.
would then be
Probably take that on as a board.
more accessible, yeah. So there is no social budget for this coming year, just trying to get volunteers really. Excuse me. All right, so maintenance expenses. These have pretty much stayed consistently the same, but I will say landscaping, you're going to start to see a 2% annual increase. If you stay with CPM, he does offer a contract hold for 3 years if you want to. However, you are able to get out of that contract at any time. That would just mean he wouldn't raise his rates for 3 years. Otherwise, he has it in his contracts, there's a 2% annual increase. So that's, the increases that you'll see with landscaping will be that 2% increase. I skipped over it, but the mulch there, that's a biannual charge with the intention that it would be delivered and installed. So no more homeowners having to go out there with their shovels and spread it. We put on annual entrance flowers to be installed, same deal. Somebody will do that, not the homeowners.
And we're adding the fertilization of the common areas, because that hasn't been done in several years. Again, to prevent weed growth, to promote grass growth, so it looks nice.
I will make a comment about DTE. It is as low as it possibly can be for us as a neighborhood. That the lights are on timers, or I guess it's sensors, correct? So they're only on when they need to be. The majority of, probably 50% of that is their service fees. So we pay about estimated $20 per meter a month. So it's, I mean, I've spoke to them on multiple occasions on seeing if there's programs that we can be a part of to get the service fees even lower, and we are as low as it can go. So the only then other option to save $1,500 a year would then to be converted to solar.
Put up a wind turbine.
Yeah, a lovely view and sound for people. We incurred fuel surcharges, I believe it was 21. We did not incur any this past year, so there's none budgeted. Fund maintenance, that's mostly for just the algae treatments for this year. The intention though is to then get that budgeted up to do brush hogging. Sign and lightning, that's an eventuality, as we've discussed this evening. And then the fence that we have on the west side of the property is damaged and will need to be maintained eventually. And then the plowing, that's approximately what we spend a year on plowing. So the reserve funds are something that hasn't really been discussed previously in our budgets. I'm gonna skip the landscape maintenance for right now and go to the road maintenance fund. This was the, voted on in 19?
I don't know, like 6 years ago I started
Um,
on it, and then the
so-
following year we did it.
Yeah, so that's an ongoing road maintenance that we do. We do the crack sealant for the neighborhood. We've approached the county a couple times, have pretty much not gotten an acceptable response from the county as
The
far
county
as
will never
maintaining the roads.
maintain our roads. They won't resurface them, they won't crack seal them. So there was a special meeting at York Township, and Washoe County came in and gave a little speech, and they basically said, if you want to preserve the integrity of your roads, it's on you, even though you don't own your roads. So we opted to crack seal, because they said another alternative was to take up a layer and then put down blacktop everywhere, but it's like $1 million a mile, and it would be an assessment to each homeowner for like $15,000, put on your taxes over 10 years.
What is tar and chip over that? What tar and chip over that surface?
I'm not
Did you
sure
get a
about
bid
that.
on that?
I'm not sure if he got pricing for that when we were looking at
For what?
it. The chip seal.
That's what they do in Willis.
Yeah, they said they wouldn't, somebody said they wouldn't do it. There's 2 companies that are allowed to touch Washtenaw County roads. We went with one of them, and he said that he wouldn't do that.
And
But that's also
why
something.
is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a few years since we went.
Because he makes more money doing
I think
the
it's
other.
saying
We went down that road.
They need like a certain amount of traffic, I think, maybe to pound it in, and if it's just a sub, then you're gonna have loose gravel over the place for a long time,
Do it for
less travel
driveways, they do it
areas.
in driveways, so.
Well, the drivers, they come and hot roll it. They won't hot roll that whole neighborhood.
Why not? I suppose, I mean, if you're looking at replacing it.
It's definitely something.
Cheaper for them to run the paving machine through 18 feet
Yeah.
wide.
I have the guy's
I mean, at
name.
the point that
and
it has to be
everything.
redone, it's not now, but I mean, that's a discussion.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it's
will
eventually gonna
definitely
need to be
Yeah.
redone.
I love your questions, because I'd love a better road for our neighborhood. I think we should, the new board, take a look at it again. See
Yeah.
what the options are, maybe the people have changed, maybe there's new companies that they use.
And I just
It'd
talked
be
to
great.
Chuck at the township yesterday, he said nothing's changed.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, so that's.
Problem is, we live
We
in York
tried.
Township, and
We tried.
80% of the land pays no property taxes because it's all farms.
Right, correct.
Pittsfield has Costco, Walmart, they've got a large tax base, so.
Well, I mean, I was assuming your place had to pay for the new roads, is that right?
If we want them done, we'll have
Right.
to.
Yeah, eventually we're
The
gonna.
So that's-
county's pretty
that's
much
why I was
told
wondering.
us.
Unless we
So
get lucky and some
so if
kind
you
of
pay
grant
for
flows
yourself, you
through,
could
or.
put the tar and chip on you, that's not a problem, then, that's what you're saying, okay.
Well, you have to follow Washtenaw County Road Commission guidelines, so this is.
Well, it's on
this-
Willis Road, so.
Yeah, no, I know, but Willis Road is a little bit
And
different,
Road.
because they actually did grind it, and then they put new asphalt down at one point in time.
Yeah, and then they chip seal.
And then they chip sealed it over it.
Well, the
Right.
guy's name is
Yeah.
Jeff Demick, Highway Maintenance Company, I'll give you his number.
There's a lot of hoops and regulations, and I mean, I think we all are definitely willing to accept having the roads redone. It's just right now, where we're at is we're doing
We're trying
crack
to-
seals.
we're trying to
I see,
save up,
trying to catch
so-
up now, now's
Oh,
not the
yeah.
time, but the,
Yeah.
it might be a reserve item thing.
I
Yeah.
think the goal is
definitely.
probably to get to a point where you have half of it in reserve.
Yeah,
And you go to the neighborhood and say, hey, look, you're gonna have to come up with the other half.
well, there's an association, a pretty nice association nearby, I forgot the name of it, but it's, they have no money for that. Their dues are like $80 a year, and they're gonna have to tear the roads out and redo them, that's gonna be an assessment, very expensive assessment.
That's a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they said, it'd be a $15,000 assessment
Yeah.
per homeowner spread out over 10 years on your taxes. So we opted not to do that, or we opted not to even bring it up. to
Oh, on your
because-
taxes, so you're still getting involved with the county.
Yeah.
I was just assuming.
County basically finances it.
Oh, I see,
So
don't do that. They
I
won't
think
do
if we
that.
can get to a point
Oh, I
where it's
see.
a $7,500 assessment on your taxes for 10 years, it's an easier sell. You know, otherwise the roads, listen, we can keep squiggling them only for so long.
Right.
For right, yeah, so for right now, we do 25,000 for every 5 years. We've met that target for the 2025 maintenance. you know, so then, that brought down how much we need per year to 4166 for the remaining 6 years for the 2030, target. The, next item is the stormwater drainage maintenance fund. That is something that's in our bylaws as we're supposed to do yearly. It's not something, when I was working with Ann, going through all of the treasurer accounts since the beginning, it's not something that's ever been done. So this is your drainage, this is your county drainage, this is your ponds, this is the road drainage, this is in front of your home drainage. These are items that are supposed to be maintained yearly. They have a list of items that are supposed to be done. And then they give a target of what you're supposed to spend per year for those items. It's $25.50. I think that's really low nowadays. I don't think we're gonna be able to do their list of items that they say for $25.50. However, that's what that is. So we have the funding for next year to put in that.
The drainage in front of your house, it's a homeowner's responsibility.
Right, but there are some, I mean.
There's some big.
Yeah, there's
big-
some checks and
There's
things
some
that.
big storms storms between properties that we're responsible as the HOA to take care of, make
Yeah.
sure there's no junk in there, they're cleaned out. I know that by my house, there's a stone, I call it our moat. It's
Yep.
the big drain, my husband goes in there and cuts all the vines and everything else, he maintains it. And just to make sure things are running smoothly, but in front of your houses, and I met with the Drain Commission a lot on it, it's really the homeowners that have to deal with it, because the way that the Drain Commission wanted your land sloped, it may or may not have been done by the landscaper. And then as things grow, you need to maintain that. And we have the plat maps for every house with all the details of what the slope should be. So, the homeowners really need to take care of their own in front of their house. We get the big things that we need to take care of.
The Drain Commission said a while ago, we should be having cattails in the
Yeah,
gully.
exactly.
Yeah,
Some
supposed to be
people
removed.
enjoy them, and
Right.
like, we had some chopped down on our street, and then the lady said, get off my lawn.
She was
let
fine
her
the
go
first
back.
time, the second time, not so much.
So,
And
what to do
that's,
there?
that's kind of
Those-
between the
those stop the
homeowner
water
and the Drain
damage trends.
Commission.
I get rid of all mine.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that line item is new this year. It hasn't been seen on previous budget.
Drainage into the retention ponds also.
Yeah,
Is that
that's the
considered
big
an
thing.
open-
So that-
An open drain, is that still considered what that reserve is for? Like in
Um,
front of the Millers, it's full of cattails all the way to the retention pond on Willis Road.
correct, so that, more than likely
The
that's part
county
of that.
could say that has to
They
be
could
done,
come at us,
but
yeah.
They're too busy.
Right.
We've already talked
They have
about
other things to worry about. This fund is supposed to be for that. There is a light item checklist, that they have even on their website. In fact, it's the same as it was when our bylaws were made.
it. So if there's if we get into Willis Road frontage improvement project, step by step, that would be part of that, I would
Yeah.
think, in that
I would
discussion.
think so.
Right,
And
and we have
listen,
worked.
it's just like any other recovery project that we're facing. We're gonna have to chunk at it year by year. It didn't get like this overnight, it's not gonna get fixed overnight.
So this amount is the bare minimum that we're supposed to have for that per year. I doubt that's gonna be enough for what needs to be done. That number, tracking that 2550 back, that's the number they had clear back in 2001. So there's no way that their list items cost $2,500 to do. But this is what we as a neighborhood for our bylaws are supposed to have in our budget yearly for it.
And Doug, whenever we're doing anything along Willis Road, we're gonna have to engage with the road commission, and we also have to engage with the county drain commission, which is the big one to engage with, because they can be real sticklers about slope, what's in there, what isn't. And we'll have to be prudent about what we drag them into, because they can make us do a lot more than we planned
Well,
on.
they'll come out and look at it,
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not a problem.
yeah, they'll come out and look at it, but
But you're just I mean, for the drain, if you replicated the drainage that's there, that's already been approved drainage.
Right,
slope.
but then you have to inspect it too. So there's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah, her point is you don't want to poke the bear.
Yeah, exactly, because I've run into issues with that before. Because we wanted to put some kind of decking over the stone moat in order to have access to the common lands. And they gave us so much trouble with it. Like they said, well, if we see a problem, we're just gonna rip it up. And I'm like, what do you mean you're gonna rip it up? You can take a board up if you need to. There's no issue here. Oh, we have the right to do this. And that's a really long area to put it, and they wouldn't let us put a bridge over it. And it's just, I don't know, I just found them not so great to deal with. Because we want access, and right now you have to go on my neighbor's lawn to get access, or you have to crawl through the stones.
Yeah, so that's where that line item has come from. And then the 10% reserve minimum is also another item in our bylaws that we're supposed to have. And again, that's just a minimum. So that's where those numbers come from. And then reaching those minimum amounts, where we'll end up projecting, we have about 8,000 then for landscape maintenance already for the upcoming year, because we already have a cul-de-sac that has to be redone due to
Just all the grass died.
yeah, let's call it a fungus infestation and bug infestation for their grass. It needs to be completely rehauled. But then that gets you started for the annuals and or not annuals, but the entrances and such.
Which brings us to the dues to $400 a year.
Correct.
Up from 300, which 300 a few years ago was up from 250. It's been 250 since, what, 2000, 2001?
2001.
So with inflation, all the vendors going up, everything going up,
Yeah.
we're running basically a deficit. So
Yeah.
300 was a stair step up to try to ease the sticker shock, but we really need to be around $500 a homeowner like most of the subdivisions in this area. But we're gonna take it easy and go with 400 because we can make this budget at 400.
300 definitely, what it actually was a deficit. We were running a negative budget with that amount. So this budget gets us back to where we
To break even.
can break even with the management company, and along with getting us started back into the right direction with revitalizing the neighborhood.
Any questions on the budget proposal and the dues proposal for 2024?
And it's budgeted for the mulch to be delivered and spread.
Correct.
Do we need the mulch next year?
No,
No, so it's biannual, so that's split $7,000 within 2 years.
Gotcha.
So 3,500 a year. That's of course an estimate.
Right.
That's not to say that's how much it will cost you though.
Say that, explain that again?
So the mulch, $7,000 for delivery and install
every other year.
every other year. So then it's budgeted $3,500 per year.
Well, it's not gonna be that much. Did we just pay 30, how much we paid just now?
We paid $32.50 just
But we
for
did it ourselves.
delivery.
Yeah, so another $1,000 to spread, it won't be
Oh, it's
70.
more than that.
It was approximately $100 per yard to spread when I was looking at estimates.
Well, maybe the,
Management
But-
company can help with that,
Right,
yeah.
the management company, and that's another thing to think of when you're looking at this budget. This is our budget without the management company helping us get pricing
Better
down
rates.
and getting better rates for all of our stuff.
Okay.
All right. Oh, and just so you know, the second page kind of gives you a little bit more details for all of our line items that we have on the budget. So if you have any questions, so further than that, just let me know. Let Ann or I know.
We do. We need to vote on the increase.
Okay.
I propose we increase the annual dues to $400 per house per year.
Second motion. I approve.
I approve.
I approve.
I approve.
No, 300.
It was 300. Well, then you won't be surprised.
The problem is the 300 is $50 up from the original 250, which in today's dollars is like 80 bucks. It's crazy that it's been that low for that long. I don't know how they did it.
I'm not complaining, I just thought
Yeah.
this was this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, looking at the history, once, this year, Ann and I looking at the history, items were just being cut out more and more and more to keep from having to share the cost with the homeowners. The board was definitely trying to keep costs as low as possible. But the intention with this budget is to get it back. Of course, there will be more added next year, but let's just get through this year.
Yeah. All right, item number 6, new business homeowners comments. Questions, comments from homeowners?
anybody in the back?
Hearing none. I move to close the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Done.
alright, thanks guys.
Thanks for coming.
Congratulations,
Welcome to the board.
guys.
I wanted to get your
Welcome.
emails.
I want to recount.
Ah,